Hello, welcome to Vintage Schwinn Addiction. Today we're going to be talking about cycle locks. What I have here today is, this is an original 1940s or 50s Schwinn Springer cycle lock. This is a steering tube, and I took it apart because it needed to be refurbished. This key was broken. Looks like they tried to force it. They forced it and it broke it, and so there's like a little piece stuck in there, so I had to get that out, grind this down a little bit, clean it up a little bit. But I got it working condition. I'll probably use it on one of my builds, and maybe throw it on one of my bikes that I have going. So in my other video I showed you 1950s that red Phantom frame that was powder coated. On the inside of the neck there's a little stud, small stud on the neck, and I was saying that this is the bottom cup, and they're a lot longer because they extended from, usually they're about right there, but they extend these out, and this piece right here goes into that stud inside the neck. So when it goes in a certain position, a certain angle, so when you put it in, you got to line this up, and it locks it. It keeps it from, what it does is it locks it, so it keeps it from turning. So you don't want this bottom cup to turn. Just hammer it in. It just being in there doesn't do nothing, because you can still turn it. And because the design behind this cycle lock is, let's say your bike is riding straight like this, and when you lock it, it locks it in an angle. So your cup is at this angle, and your steering tube is at this angle, but the bike will be going straight, so it can't go straight because it's turning, and no one can ride off with your bike. It'll be going in circles. So you got this cup. Actually, this hole lines up with this stud. This one lines up with this inside the frame, and so this hole is for this stud. So when you activate the stud, when you activate the stud, when you turn the key, the stud pops out. So now you can't turn your bike. Your bike is locked in this position. You can't go straight. So with your wheel locked at this position, you're gonna be going in circles. So it makes it harder to ride off with your bike. And so what the insides look like, you got this little, you got that part. You got this little arm that rocks back and forth, which, you see that? When it goes this way, that stud pulls out and goes this way. So when you turn your key clockwise, it knocks it out, and then counterclockwise unlocks it. So you got here you have an original key made by Yale Jr. This is a 481, and it matches the lock tumbler AN 481. And so the way this works, so you have a brass fitting right here. It's locked in here by this. There's a pin right here that locks it in, so this can't pull out. Because if this was able to pull out, you'd be able to pull out the whole thing like nothing. So this little pin keeps this locked in, and what keeps this is the brass fitting that's inside there. And so what keeps the lock locked in is when you open it up, you got it right here. So this little piece right here, that locks it in. So in order to pull the lock out, you have to push that in, and then you can pull. The lock will come out. And then in order to put it in, you need to push that piece in and then slide it back in, and then it locks in. So it locks in by this piece right here. And the way these keys work, see how all the things are flush with the key inside of it. So they get this key out, line it up. Okay, so I pull the key out in all the little tumblers. See, they pop up and then they get locked. They locked in right here, so it makes it impossible to turn this. And you can't turn it because the stud right there is, there's a stud that goes through here and it keeps the brass from spinning. And then so it locks up. And so you put the key back in. Put the key back in, and all the little tumblers, it just spins. You're able to turn the key. So turning the key rocks it back and forth. This little pin right here goes inside little rocker arm. And then by turning the key, it rocks this back and forth. And this is the pivot. This is the pivot right here, so it goes back and forth like that. And then this right here, this little head, this round head, goes inside this pin right here, which activates this, and it goes in and out. So see, here's the pin right here. In order to get this out, you have to knock this pin through. It goes all the way through right here. And then you pull that out, and then there's like a little spring also at the end. Let's see if it also should come with a little spring. It just wraps around, and then it goes inside. And then once you pull that out, and then this will come out, and then you just put it back together. You just go opposite. You put this in, and then you put that in, and then make sure the springs line up, and then you put the pin through the hole, and then this pin right here. So this will go in the hole. This will go in like that, and then this will go from the outside, and it'll go all the way through. And then you put the brass in. The brass has to be a certain way because it has little notches right here. See the little holes right here? So let's say it's got to line up. This little hole has got to line up with this pin right here. There's a pin. There's actually a pin in there. And you can see it. There's a pin. There's like a little hole right there. So the pin. Well, the best way to get the pin out is when they're like this. And you just get a screwdriver and you get this brass and you separate it. You have to stick something in there and push the brass this way. And separate it. And it'll expose the pin. And then you just push the pin with the screwdriver, push it that way, and then it'll pop out. The pin will pop out right here, and you could pull it out. And you could replace this brass if this brass is messed up, but usually you don't, unless like someone try to yank it or destroy it, because they don't have the key and they try to mess it up or whatever. But if it's in good condition, you don't have to mess with it. You can just leave it. And so you gotta make sure these screws are the same way and they line up. So see how this groove right here is matched with that, and then this pinhole right here will line up. it'll line up. That pinhole will line up right there. So this will go right here, and then once you put it in, and you stick the pin, you push it in to lock this in from keep it from sliding out. There you have it. And another thing too, these are the caps. These are hard to get off of. I'm lucky that this had like a little notch. These weren't. This one wasn't in all the way. I was able to grab it by the screwdriver and pop it out like this. And it still had a little lip I was able to grab. Sometimes they were sunken way in. They're like real sunken way in. There's nowhere to grab it and pop it out. So what I do is, on this one, I got a Dremel. I have a little Dremel with like the smallest drill bit on it. It's real thin, probably like the size of a basketball inflating, one of those ball inflator needles. It's probably about that size, maybe a little bit smaller, thinner. And I just drill holes, like 3 holes, and then kind of make a notch, and then try to stick like a screwdriver and kind of pry it up. This is the same way. See, I drilled. Try not to mess them up too bad, but this one was like sunken way in deep. I just popped it in, so I made like a little notch. This one, because it came with this lock didn't have a key. Maybe I could take it out and have a key made. It won't be original Schwinn, but it'll still work. It won't be a Junior Yale 481. There's Arnold and Schwinn. These are real hard to find. This one was off my 37. I had a 37 Schwinn. I parted it out. I was into it, but then I wasn't, because like it was all completed other than it was missing the tank. It was a BF Goodrich, and I was missing the tank. All original paint, and I couldn't find that tank nowhere. And if I did find it, it was like $2,000 for a tank, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll find one complete with the tank and go from there. But when they don't have the tank, it's kind of hard to. And then you gotta match it. You gotta find a black tank and not the burgundy one. But there you have it. This is actually Hubbard W. And here's that pin. Here's this pin right here. I'm thinking this is the one. If not, it might be something else. Might just be something else. There you have it. If you have any questions on how to open these up, there's original keypad tag. US patent. Yeah, I was thinking of throwing this on my Whizzer. My Whizzer don't have a cycle lock. I could throw it on the Whizzer, or maybe just use it for my Phantom. I have a 51 Phantom. It doesn't have the key, so I have to open it up and replace it. Doesn't have a key, but I have it unlocked. I was able to unlock these. These are pretty easy to pick. You can pick it, unlock it, and you'll be fine like that. But well, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and help me spread the word. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers, and maybe I'll start giving away some stuff. I got a lot of parts that I could be giving away. Maybe something like these keys and locks and memorabilia, or bikes, parts. Maybe I'll do a bike, try to find a bike at a nice little Stingray, or keep it as a giveaway. I got a 76 bicentennial, maybe I could give that away. But like and subscribe, and after 1,000 subscribers, I'll start giving away stuff. Thank you for watching, and enjoy. Schwinn Addiction out.